Okay, so this is the first time that we have done this She Speaks live broadcast from home. In addition to the fact that the wind is blowing like crazy and it's raining outside, but we're all under quarantine. Ladies, we are all here. Yay! So you guys have an opportunity to be a fly on the wall. We are testing out some new technology that I'm actually very, very excited about. It is a new streaming service that allows us, while we're under quarantine, to stream to multiple platforms. I have been testing it out. This is actually our first time ever using it. I also have my wonderful, amazing executive / cousin Rhonda, who is looking at us online. What up, bump, bump? So how are we looking on the streams? Did you check out Facebook? Did you check out YouTube? You guys,
good.
please let us know. It's looking good. We looking good. Okay, well, let's get back to the ladies. So, ladies, we are in the middle of a quarantine. So we're all trying to figure out new ways of getting our businesses set up, getting our lives in order. There's a ton of crazy stuff going on in the world, but I want to ask each and every one of you how you are handling this quarantine thing. Let's start with our guest, Miss Sandy Lomax. Sandy, what's up, girl? So how are you holding up during quarantine?
I am hanging in there. Sometimes there's a different range of emotions throughout the day.
Okay.
But for the most part, if I could be honest, I actually prayed for a sabbatical because I worked so much, but I never would have imagined this would be why I would have this time off. So when I say a mixed range of emotions, I needed the time off, but at the same time, of course, being a small business owner, it's challenging mentally because you don't have a set forward date of what's next.
How you feeling about this new not new, Kemp deciding that he was going to open up hair salons, beauty salons, barbershops? As an owner of one of those services, what are your thoughts on that?
My initial reaction was I was heated. I was so upset. First of all, we are non-essential businesses. Let's be clear. And at the end of the day, I'm a licensed cosmetologist. I'm a makeup artist. I specialize in doing eyelash extensions. And Nikki, you know that my business is an intimate setting. And any service that I provide, there's no way to do it 6 feet apart. If you look at the numbers and the facts, numbers don't lie, like they say, and they're going up. And you're throwing us back out there. It's like just go out there and let the people start. It's like a shooter is outside, and you're saying go out there, go take that risk. Of running in front of a bullet. That's how I feel about it, because we can't find Lysol on shelves. We can't find hand sanitizer. We have to go according to OSHA and different guidelines. And then I have to think about my clients. I have to think about myself and my clients. Are clients really going to come in and tell me where they've been? You know what I'm saying? Our clients really can I find this thermometer? Can I test every client walking in? And right now, what we know, you can be walking around asymptomatic. You may not have a fever.
Right.
So if particles can come through the mask, even if I have on a mask, how many N95 masks do I have access to?
I totally get it.
That one out
and
that
the fact
night,
that we're in stores where they don't have Lysol, Pine Sol, like you don't have the bare basics. We don't have any, even our hospital workers still don't have what they need, but we want to open up hair salons and barbershops. Christine, I have to ask you, because this is something that, listen to me. So what were your thoughts when you heard that Kemp decided that he was going to reopen the city of Atlanta?
Just that it was reckless. To me, it's all calculated. Georgia, just like every other state, experienced the largest request for unemployment. It set records. Kemp opened these businesses back up because now he put the burden on them. So now these people can no longer claim unemployment. Exactly. So now they go back to a place like a salon or a tattoo parlor or a nail shop where they're not going to be crowded, because even though you might get some people going, you will get people mostly who stay home. They're not going to have their same level of business. So now what you have is the business firing people, and now the business having to pay the unemployment piece as opposed to the state shouldering most of the burden. So it is, to me, it's all game.
Oh.
And when he opened up and started simply with hair salons, tattoo parlors, nail shops, a bowling alley, his excuse of, because they can't work from home. Well, there are a lot of things that can't work from home, but you open up the businesses where close contact is a must. You can't do my hair 6 feet from me. You can't do my nails way over at the other side of the room. So to endanger people like that, as well as try to flip the burden back onto the small businesses and the people who need those unemployment checks is ridiculous. Because they're going back to work now to make probably a minuscule amount compared to what they used to make based on tips and those things, because the clientele is not going to be back up to its max. So I thought it was, like I said, reckless. It was just a bad deal, and it's going to affect our community, as most of these things do, the most and the worst. We will again be the hardest hit. Our workers there, our folks who do the cosmetologists, the nail techs, all of those people, and then you're opening up the restaurants with the exact same scenario, because people aren't going to come flooding into a restaurant on Monday. They're not going to do it.
Absolutely.
So they're going to be laying off their workers. So it's just, the whole thing is just, like I said, it's reckless. And for him to have done that so prematurely, when technically Georgia has not even reached its peak. We've not even reached our peak in cases yet. We're so far from flattening our curve, and you open this back up. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Stacey, do you have any thoughts on this issue?
You know what? I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, I agree with Christine, and I agree with Sandy from a business owner standpoint. At the end of the day, it is a political situation. It is basically to say, hey, go back to work, and we're not going to, in a way, we need to lower our unemployment claims each week.
Yeah.
I can tell you, for me, what happened with me just outside of Kemp for the first 2 weeks of this, I was literally walking in circles, because I couldn't believe that in 2020, we as a country were going through something like this. Not until I Googled, or I got something on the Hollywood Reporter about the 1918, or is it 1920 something, the Spanish flu, and how Hollywood dealt with the same type of thing. And what was even more troublesome after reading about that, the next story was about when they opened America back up, more people died. So with me, with Kemp, what I was really concerned with, like, this is like history repeating itself. The first, when the Spanish flu initially happened, people died and lives were lost. But then when they opened back up too quickly, more people died than ever. So it seemed, and historically, I mean, these people are smart people, I would like to think. So it would seem that they know the information just like I do, so they would protect us more.
So on the one hand, I see the only way we can get back to any sort of normal lifestyle is you have to kind of take the risk a little bit, just to see how integrating ourselves back into society would actually work. I just feel like they're using Black folks as guinea pigs. I ain't gonna hold you up.
Well, but I would think that too, Nikki. But then I looked at something where it was something about Piedmont Park, and it was just as many other people there as it was Black people in Piedmont Park, and it was like nothing was going on.
But when I say Black folks, I mean I'm talking about some of these services that they're providing. When you talk about beauty salons, nail salons, and then I saw a picture, which I want to be real fancy and put the picture into our conversation. But right now I'm trying to figure out what's going on YouTube at the same time we're doing this, since we live. But there was a picture on YouTube. Did you guys see the picture on YouTube? I'm not YouTube, IG, where they were in the nail salon. I think the Jasmine brand posted it, and they had like people which like almost shower curtains between the people who were doing that. Was crazy.
Yeah.
That was mind-blowing.
The crazier part of that is, where are you going other than back home? Right. So you are so uncomfortable that you can't walk around your own house with your nails undone. Polish your own. I did. I took a stab at it. It's what it is.
Come on, Chris.
But the bigger thing, and I want to just go back to this point, like like we talked about, Stacey made a point about saying, whatever Kemp says is not going to dictate what she does, which is a great point. And the majority of people are taking the science, I think, not majority, a lot. I won't say majority, are taking the science serious, which is critical. But the critical thing, which is why the things that Trump and Kemp and all these people say are so critical, because there are people who listen to them. So when your government officials speak and say outlandish things, please know that there are certain people who are going to follow that.
Yeah.
So there are people who are going to say, Kemp said it's safe. I'm going out. I'm going to do this. Regardless of whether we like our government officials or not, they do influence people and our actions. Mm-hmm. So just like we didn't shut the country down until damn near the end of March. So we had all of these events at the beginning of March that now several cities can trace back to being, incubators for how the disease got spread, especially in my home city of Detroit.
Yes, wow.
Because large events weren't shut down, so people were still having large community pancake breakfasts and large funerals. There are people who went to those things and have subsequently died.
Which is crazy.
Died
because
they went to this event, and that's where the origin of the disease was traced. So because a government official, our president, did not take it serious for weeks, lives were lost.
Yeah.
So that's why I say government in this is critical, whether we like Donald Trump or not.
Yeah.
His words matter. Citizens are going to follow what he says, and the same thing here in Georgia. For this man to recklessly open these kind of facilities, people are going to go for the simple fact that they're open.
And I don't know if you all have just seen, which, shout out to Keisha Bottoms, who is advocating for us. She has spoken up and said, listen, don't go, and I love that she pulled out her tabletop hair dryer, and she was representing, she was like, okay, listen, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not going to tell you to do one thing, and I'm going to do something different. And so my clients in the
leading by example.
Leading by example. Now let's talk about that.
Yeah.
Because I just saw, which blew my mind, that derogatory ass message that someone left Keisha Lance Bottom, and she's getting a lot of blowback from other people who believe that she is fighting against what Kemp is saying. So let me ask your opinion of that. Stacey, you've worked for the mayor. You know the sort of ins and outs in Atlanta. Do you think that that's something that is going to continue to grow? Is that, and Christine, obviously, having worked for the mayor of the city of Detroit, is that par for the course? Is that just some little thing that happens all the time and they have to get used to? Or is that something that we really need to be concerned about?
I don't think we need to be concerned about Keisha Lance Bottoms, our mayor, standing in for the city, stepping up for the people of the city who she represents. No, we should be happy that.
No. I'm saying that not Keisha Lance Bottoms. Of course, she is doing what we expect her to do, especially as a woman of color. I'm saying the racist remarks, the pushback that she's getting, people saying that she's going against the mayor. Is that par for the course? Is that something that all mayors get all the time? Or is this...
Georgia is a red state. So, you're going to... I don't even understand why we would think it was going to be any different. From my standpoint, just because of how we vote in the majority, our vote in our Republican governor shows how we vote. So, I'm happy that she's standing up for the people who she represents, and I would not expect anything less than that.
The concern is not whether it's Democrat or Republican. The concern is people threatening her because she's standing up for our safety.
Right.
And you're always going to get those sorts of haters in politics and anything, as you know. But, because she is a public official and she's always out there, she's going to get those. But she's not by herself.
It speaks volumes that we're here on the grounds of Tyler Perry Studios, that we are in the city of Atlanta. And I think that Black women across the state have shown that we can influence elections. And I was glad to hear that articulated on the stage tonight.
About two more questions.